I got my chalk, so we're going to understand this. The three words, these are the shortest Arabic words that you can come across, but they're quite complicated to understand. We had to practice multiple times in class so we can comprehend which ones we could use with verbs, which ones we could use with sentences, and at the same time, we have to know when to use them and where to use them. What tense do we have to apply? How do we understand if the subject is visible in the sentence or not? So I'll give you three of them, which is inna, anna, and an. If you want to test your Arabic keyboard, go ahead and write all three of them, and that will let me see who is live with us. So go ahead and write inna, anna, and an. If you don't have your keyboard, you can just use your notes, because I'm going to ask you to put them in sentences, and I'll show you how you can apply another strategy to acquire more vocabulary. So let's see how many of you will type in these three short Arabic words. Alif with hamza and kasra underneath, and then alif with fatha, and then you have alif with fatha, but the noon, the first one has shadda, the second one has shadda with fatha, of course. You can see that I have combined them together, and the third one has sukun. So let's see how many of you will put that in the live chat, and I'll let you get ready so you can just put your notes near you, because you'll be forming sentences. And I'll be sharing with you learners' experience, what students have said or felt about these words, and how we have come to understand when and how we could use them. Remember, all we need to do is to write them down, and I'll be looking at the chat here myself so you can see how many of you have put these words in the live chat. Mumtaz. So this is modern standard Arabic. We're not doing we are doing Fusha. We're not doing dialects. Okay. So I got the chat, the live Arabic chat ready so I can see. Please go ahead and write all these three words. In, anna, wa, inna. So inna, anna, even it's hard for me to say them all three at the same time. So inna, anna, wa an. Inna, anna, wa an. ممتاز. جميل جدا. Okay, so we'll get started. When we see inna and anna, we combine them sometimes with sisters. We call them inna wa akhawatuha, inna and its sisters. When we say inna and its sisters, what we refer to is the exact same rule that we apply when we use all of these four words, that we can understand them as separate sets of vocabulary or lists of words. So if I say inna ahmada karimun, inna ahmada karimun, the rule that will apply on all of them, that the first word, which could be a subject, we have to put fatha on it, and the second word, which is an object without a preposition of place. I'm giving you examples where you could have the preposition of place. Without a preposition of place, it could be an adjective. So I'm just going to put here a noun and adjective. The adjective has to have tanween if it's not defined, if there is no alif lam. So if it's indefinite, there is no alif lam, you just have to put two tanweens, which is dammas. And you go like, inna ahmada karimun. But what's the meaning of inna when putting it at the beginning of the sentence? If I say inna at the beginning of the sentence and I state something, I mean that I am certain that the person is at home, and I'm just providing you with more statements or with more examples. Inna Ahmad karimun. Ahmad is generous. Inna Ahmad fil bayt. Ahmad is at home. Inna Ahmad mudiri. Ahmad is my boss. So I could just state any of these examples to confirm that this person is what I tell you he is, or where I tell you he is. So I can use inna at the beginning. And there's only inna I can use it at the beginning. Anna, I cannot use it at the beginning of a statement at all. That's why over here I say its sisters. All of these have to be at the beginning of a statement. Then the second one is لعل 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 المدير في مكتبه. لعل means maybe. And you see this rule that I just told you that the noun has to have fatha. I say لعل المديرة. This is the subject, which is in grammar they would refer to it as مبتدأ وخبر, like subject and predicate, مبتدأ وخبر. But you could just say the noun and the object. If you don't want to refer to the grammatical exact grammar words, you can just say the subject and the object. Who is the person and where the person is, or what information you're giving us. So لعل, I hope, or maybe, I'm hopeful that the person is in his office, for example. لعل المدير في مكتبه. Hopefully the boss is in his office. Over here, I do not put dhamma because I have harf jar. So you have to know this rule that the word you put after fi needs to have kasra. في مكتبه, in his office. So that's the second meaning. Inna and la'alla. Inna, to emphasize your statement, or you're saying indeed the person is this way, is generous. Indeed the person is in his office. لعل المدير. لعل is maybe, and I'm hopeful that the person is doing what he's doing, or I'm hopeful that the person meets my expectation. And I would say لعل مدير الجديد لطيف. I'm hoping, or maybe my new boss is kind. Then I would use لعل because I'm hopeful. لكن, objection. لكن, but. لكن الموظف غائب. لكن الموظف غائب. But the employee is absent. The rule I mentioned over here, which is fatha and tanween dhamma, I have them available over here. So I can do that. I can say al-muwaddafa. I can use fatha, and I have to define the subject, the person I'm talking about. لكن الموظف غائب. لكن الموظف غائب. But the employee is absent. Then the fourth one, which is another set of words or new vocabulary, later. I wish. later. ليت والدي كان معنا. ليت والدي كان معنا. I wish my father was with us. So I would say later. والدي, my father. So I don't put any fatha over here because I am defining this individual as my father, not al-walida, the father. It's my father. Kana, because masculine, I have to say kana, was. Ma'ana, with us. So basically this rule that I just said over here, it can be applied to only when you have a subject and a predicate like mubtada wa khabar. You're giving me the person, you're giving me what he's doing. But if you're adding more creative ways to apply was with us, or in his office, or additional statements, the rule is not the same. You have to be careful what you're using in order to apply this rule that you might find in Arabic textbooks and grammar books as well. So these are 4 sets that agree with inna because all of them have the exact same rule I mentioned over here, and all of them take place at the beginning of a statement. Now, how can I use anna and an? Anna, and I'll see the chat if someone just mentioned something. Okay. Anna and an. Anna, I would use it with a specific list of verbs. I have to have a good amount of vocabulary that are part of verbs, and I need to state the verb at the beginning. Like over here, I say adonnu, I think, adonnu. And I have to say anna, I think that. So over here, anna means that. I think that Ahmed is generous. I think that Ahmed is generous. أظن أن أحمد كريم. So I can apply the rule of فتحة on any noun I say here. أظن أن الصف صعب. I think that the class is difficult. أظن أن الصف صعب. أظن أن صديقي مريض, and if I want to put the case end in. So I think that my friend is sick. I think that. And whatever word you place after أن, which is preceding a verb, has to have فتحة over here. So you go like أظن أن المديرة الموظفة والدي Ahmed. You can use this list if you want. Then the second part, which is inna. You see the first function, we have inna at the beginning. It has two functions. The first one is you place inna at the beginning because you're very certain of your statement and you're restating it. You're saying it again. So let's say, for example, one of you says, the teacher is not in class. الأستاذ ليس في الصف. And you want to correct the person nicely, you would say, لا إن الأستاذ في الصف. No, the teacher is in class. So it's as if you are emphasizing the pronunciation of is in English. You see how you would say is at that dramatical, that dramatical effect. You say the teacher is in class. The teacher is in class. And إن الأستاذة في الصف. إن الأستاذة في الصف. So that same stress, you would apply it on inna, but in the first function at the beginning of the statement. If you put it in the middle after a verb, the verb needs to collocate with inna. It only works with inna. It only works with inna. So you would say قال إن, he said that. قال إن, he said that. But I'll tell you something quite interesting. Even native speakers of Arabic would still confuse قال أنه. He said that he is. So in spoken Arabic, you would hear people say قال أنه. Like I found myself saying that قال أنه. But when I looked at grammar books, I saw that some of them would emphasize that there is قال إنه. He said that. And إن must collocate or agree with قال. And all you have to do is remember which verbs go with which one of these that. So both of them mean that. أن and إن. He said that he is in class. قال إنه, and I'm using pronoun. قال إنه في الصف. He said he is in class. قال إنه في الصف. I think that he said that he is in class. You could even do that and say أظن أنه قال إنه في الصف. If you want to practice, you could just play with this like riddle. I thought he said that he is in class. That way you can match أظن with أن, ألف and فتحة, and قال with إن. And both of them mean that. And you have to add your statement. The other one, which is this one over here, all by itself, this does not mean that. This means to. And if you were part of the live sessions that we have placed online for free for many participants, we have practiced this multiple times, which is N. We put a verb, and then we put N, then another verb. So it has to happen between two verbs. And this means to. My example is سأحاول أن أدرس. سأحاول أن أدرس. I will try to study. سأحاول أن أدرس. Yeah. But why do we say that all of them have one rule that they all agree with? that rule is this. Let me get my other marker. Whether you're putting inna or anna or an, whatever word choice you put, whether it's a noun or this is the other one, verb, yes, all of them have to be mansoob. They have to have fatha. They have to have fatha. So إن الأستاذة, إن الموظفة, إن المديرة, and all of them, like you can see. Oh, my phone. There you go. Inna. Yeah, okay. Inna with a noun, you have to put fatha on the noun, and if you put anna, you have to put fatha on the noun, and then if you put an, you have to put fatha on the verb. So over here I say, I will try to study. سأحاول أن أدرس. سأحاول أن أدرس. I will try to study. سأحاول أن أدرس. جيد. So over here, what I'm going to do is I will ask each one of you, and please treat this live as a real class. This is the type of instructions that we would give in class, and I'd like you to make sure that you are applying these rules by forming sentences. And you don't have to be in the intermediate or advanced levels to capture this, but all you could do is just write the word, think of a person. So for example, we go inna, and we'll think about a place or a person, and I could say inna safa, the class, and I am being very certain, and I'm restating a statement, and I'm saying inna as-safa tawilun, the class is long. The meaning of the class is long. So one of my students, like I mentioned to you earlier, that I'll tell you what some of our students asked. One of my students, she said, what if I just say Ahmed is generous or Ahmed is at home without inna? Is the meaning going to change? No, the meaning is not going to change at all. So whether you're saying Ahmed is generous, Ahmed karimun, or inna Ahmed karimun, the meaning does not change at all. You're just still saying that Ahmed is generous. But when you say inna, you're just restating, you're being very certain, and you're saying indeed. You add that dramatical impact to your statement, and you're confirming that Ahmed is generous. Inna Ahmed في الصف, Inna Ahmed Karim, Inna Ahmed Mudiri, Inna hada لجميل. This is so beautiful. And I think in most advanced levels, they would feel more comfortable saying inna at the beginning of a statement. And if you read religious texts or hadith or Quran, you'll find a lot of reference to this statement, like innahu la'ala khuluqin kareem. He has a good character or good manners. In hadith or in Quran, you'll find this quite common. But in advanced levels, like you're reading poetry, you're having a formal meeting with someone, they would tend to use this quite often than to just say Ahmed Kareem, Ahmed is generous. So I think this would be how I would use them, by applying more vocabulary, adjectives, definite, and some other grammatical rules that we have covered before. So let's do this. Write statements using inna, anna, and an. You could either use I think that, or he said that, or I will try to. Or you can, if you're comfortable, you can use لعل, لكن, later. And let me look at the live chat, and I will be reading your statements and then take your questions. Thank you so much, Anver. So I'm glad that this is helping. Okay, so let me take your questions and see if you were able to understand this. Simple way. I'm saying it's very simple, really, really simple, because the way you apply your words is based on how many words or vocabulary you have, and what grammar are you comfortable, what grammar lesson are you comfortable with? Have you covered prepositions of place? Have you covered verb conjugation, past, present? And over here, we meant to put present, past, and future. أظن is present tense, I think. قال is past, he said. سأحاول is future, I will try to. Okay. So let's see how many of you will write sentences using an or anna and inna. Yalla shabab, yalla shabab. And this live chat will be available for you to review and try to understand these statements and how you can use inna, la'alla, lakinna, layta, أظن أن, قال إن, سأحاول أن. Thank you so much, Asad or Asad. جميل جدا. يلا يا شباب, let me take your questions. Don't leave, I can see you. I'm just kidding. So stay in the live. I'm sure that some of you are taking their time. At least if you're not able to form your sentences yet, at least write these 3 words and write single Arabic statements like Ahmed is Kareem, Ahmed generous, Bayt Jamil, a beautiful house, any simple statement that you can write. جيد. Kevin is saying إن مدينة Jacksonville جميلة. صحيح. إن مدينة Jacksonville جميلة. صحيح. And then if someone says a statement like this, you would respond to the person and say, I agree with you. أتفق معك. أتفق معك أنها جميلة. أتفق معك أنها جميلة. That it is beautiful. And in this statement, I'm not saying إنها. You're saying إنها, but I am responding by saying أنها. أتفق معك. I agree with you. أتفق معك that. أتفق معك أنها فعلا جميلة. That it is really beautiful. Because I'm using that. I'm not using إن at the beginning of a statement. أتفق معك أنها جميلة. نعم, I agree with you that she's beautiful. أتفق معك أنها جميلة. صحيح. أحسنت بشير. So Gavin said إن مدينة Jacksonville جميلة, وبشير responded and said أتفق معك أنها جميلة. أحسنت يا بشير. أحسنت. جميل جدا. Okay, so let's see how many of you will still give us their examples. Don't hesitate. يلا. يلا شباب. If you're not giving me your examples, I will give you mine and I'll ask you to write it or type it in there to see if you're able to capture the sounds. أتفق معك. I agree with you. صحيح, I agree. In English, you'd say I agree. But in Arabic, you have to say I agree with you. أتفق معك. أتفق معه. لا أتفق معك. And we're using the singular form of I, أتفق, and it's in the present tense, and you say لا أتفق معك. لا أتفق معك. I do not agree with you. I do agree. أتفق معك. مدينة جميلة. صحيح. أنا لم أزورها من قبل ولكن سمعت أنها. I heard that. سمعت أنها مدينة جميلة. سمعت أنها مدينة جميلة. أحسنتم. جميل جدا. alright. جيد يا شباب. جيد. يلا. يلا. Let's see. أتفق معك. أظن أن هذه رحمة. هل هذه رحمة؟ رحمة. نعم رحمة. أظن أنك رحمة. أظن أنك رحمة. I think that you are. صحيح. So if I am guessing that the person in the live chat is someone I know, I would say, I think that you are the person. أظن أنك or أنك. أظن أنك رحمة. أظن أنك طالبتي. صحيح؟ نعم. أهلا رحمة. خلاص، هذا صحيح. أظن أنك طالبتي. أهلا يا رحمة. جميل جدا. وكيفن أيضا أظن أنه طالبي. والحسن هنا أيضا. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. جميل. إن الدرس مهم. أهلا يا الحسن. خلاص، كيفن ورحمة والحسن. We just need the others to hop in the live. So try to text them. أظن أن هذا الدرس سيعجبك. You could say, I think that this lesson will appeal to you. أظن أن هذا الدرس سيعجبك. أظن أن هذا الدرس سيعجبك. So Rahma, take this as an opportunity to write the homework, and you can put it in the live chat and it will count as today's homework. والحسن أيضا وكيفن أيضا. يلا يا شباب. So how about I will try to do this, or I want to do this, and you're using N. Okay. Okay, جميل جدا. Let me do this. I will give you a sentence in English, which is, have you heard that? And I quote a person when I say قال إن. So it's like gossip time. Have you heard that? هل سمعت أن فلان قال؟ هل سمعت أن فلان قال؟ Have you heard that X and Y? So if I say فلان is Mr. Have you heard that X and Y قال said إن الدرس صعب. Have you heard that this person said that the class is difficult? So what I'm gonna do, like I just said, I stated an English phrase. You can think about any phrase in your language, in your native language, but you do the translation. So I will say, I think that, okay, you translate this one. I think that the weather will be, I think that the weather will be, okay, rainy. And in Florida, we always think that. I think that the weather will be rainy today. So how would you translate this statement in Arabic? I think my ink is running out. I'll just grab another one. And you do the translation. Yalla. I think that the weather will be rainy today. How would you say that? I'm looking at the live chat. جميل جدا. ممتاز. So I see two sentences over here, and I'll leave the rest with this translation. So Bashir is saying أريد أن يفعل ذلك. So if you're saying يفعل means you're talking about someone, it's a he. So what you would say is أريده أن يفعل ذلك. I want him to do that. I want him. So in the verb أريده, you have to say I want him within the verb before you say أن. I want him to. أريده أن يفعل ذلك, to do that. And then there's another statement, say لا أظن أنه صعب. It is جميل. لا أظن أنه صعب أن تتعلم اللغة العربية. جميل جدا. I don't think that it is. So in this example, I don't think that it is. أنه refers to it is. أنه صعب أن تتعلم اللغة العربية. I don't think that it is hard to learn the Arabic language. أحسنت. And Hassan is saying ظننت أن الطقس ماطر. If you're saying أظن, it has to be in the present tense. If you say ظننت is I thought that. But what happened to will be? You could still say I thought that the weather will be rainy today. It's possible. Okay, great. ظننت أن الطقس ماطر اليوم. I thought that the weather أن الطقس ماطر اليوم. صحيح، هذه جملة صحيحة يا الحسن. أظن أنه الطقس سيكون ممطر اليوم. Okay, great. If I say أن and I already have a noun like weather, the weather is the noun and I have to put fatha. If I do have a noun, I do not need to use a pronoun at all. The pronoun can be used only if you're referring to the verb to be as it is. إنه, 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 it is or he is. So إنه طقس جميل. At the beginning of a statement, you could say, it is a beautiful weather. إنه طقس جميل. إن الطقس جميل. The weather is beautiful. So if you're saying إنه, you would only refer to it is. It is. أظن أن الطقس سيكون ممطر اليوم. أحسنت جافسكين، أحسنت. ممتاز رحمة. أيضا أظن أن الجو سيكون. سيكون. Look at your chart. For our Khatawaat students, you have that chart. Look at the chart of the verb كان conjugation. أظن أن الجو سيكون. Rainy is an adjective. So let me clear this. I hope you can see my board. Please let me know if you're seeing it. If not, I will just write in a darker color. Oh, this is okay. So what you put is over here. مطر, ممطر, and then سيكون. And then we have أظن. These are the keywords. And of course, our lesson today is أن. So أن goes with أظن. سيكون is will be. ممطر, that's an adjective. Rainy. But مطر is rain. So if you're saying أظن, I think that there is rain outside. How about this? Who can translate this? I think that there is rain outside. If there is rain outside, it's different from I think that it will be rainy tomorrow. Jamil. So if I say I think that there is rain outside, I would say what? أظن أن there is, and this is vocabulary. أظن أن there is. How do we say there is? We add it to our list. أظن أن هناك. I'm not sure you can see this, but هاء نون ألف كاف. هناك. It's quite light. It's time to get new markers. أنا أحتاج أن أشتري أقلام جديدة. أحتاج أن أشتري أقلام جديدة. فنقول هناك. أظن أن هناك مطر. There is rain. أظن أن هناك مطر في الخارج. outside. في الخارج أو خارج البيت. outside the house. خارج البيت. ممتاز. جميل جدا. So all you could do, let's see, another practice, our final practice. What we could do, هناك. جميل يا الحسن. أحسنت. This is what we're going to do. Each one of you will think of a common statement that you say with that. That or it is, or to. And all of them, you could use an, but you have to be careful which one. Is it anna, or inna, or an? So try to come up with a common statement. Something you always say in your native language and translate it to English. I wish we can speak all languages. What is your statement? So translate your thoughts now. I think that the food is delicious. يلا شباب. Okay, so let's see. يلا, I'm waiting for your sentences. يلا شباب. My texting is too slow. No, Rahma, take your time. You can use transliteration. You can use transliteration. So if you do, I think that the food is delicious. I think that the lesson is clear. How about this? It is beautiful today, or the weather is beautiful today. You're showing that dramatical impact on your statements. Then you probably want to say, I want to do something, or I decided to do something. I realized that, maybe, I realized that I needed to do this. And as you're putting your sentences, you can think about ways to apply your vocabulary. If you don't have words, you don't have vocabulary, that's the part where every time you come into a live study session, you go over the words, you take your statements, you write them down, you highlight the words that you learn, and you keep going. أظن أن الدرس سهل. أحسنتي رحمة. أظن أن الدرس سهل. جميل جدا. ممتاز. جميل. خلاص. I think we're done for today, inshallah. You can continue writing your sentences in the comment section, and we'll go over them, inshallah, and then you can reply to each other and learn from each other by looking at accurate and real sentences, inshallah. So I'll see you in the upcoming sessions, and thank you so much for joining. So the last sentence we have is أظن أن اللغة العربية جميلة. صحيح الحمد لله. أظن أن اللغة العربية جميلة. So شكرا يا شباب. مع السلامة. And I'll see you inshallah in upcoming sessions. Please stick around for during this week, as we'll be posting more material to help you understand this lesson. So السلام عليكم. لا أظن أن الطعام لذيذ. أحسنت يا الحسن. جميل جدا. مع السلامة شباب.